chance I'm going to be on camera on audio. So that would be a terrible idea.
Sam's making a business decision. He knows if I'm on the commentary, there's going to be some things said.
Mikey, how long for kickoff? How long for kickoff? What time is it?
55.
5 minutes?
5, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me? You got a feed?
Yeah, you're
I assume it's windy as hell? Alright, I'll try and keep it close to the chest.
Yeah. And then you can mute yourself whenever you want.
Alright.
Like if you're going to cuss, mute yourself.
I'll just try not to cuss. I just gotta be in view of this. Okay. So if I hit this, it mutes. And now I'm on. Are we already live? Are we already live?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're live and you're on.
All right, folks, we're back here in Lexington for the National Collegiate Rugby play-in match between the host University of Kentucky Wildcats and the visiting Charlotte 49ers. Charlotte's kicking off right to left from where I'm standing. Kentucky in white and blue checks. Charlotte in green with black and gold trim. Wind going across the field from me to the opposite sideline. Expect it to shift from right to left later in the game. And we're off. Ball down. Recovered by Kentucky. Andrew Weeks looking for it. Finds Donlin on the crash. Carry. Weeks spins to Dardis. Dardis takes. It's got a seam. Finds Keogh on the inside. Keogh breaks one, breaks two, looks for an offload, misses. Charlotte recovers. Charlotte looking to recycle. Charlotte looks to bank one up in the middle. Arthur tackles. 9 gets caught behind the gain line. Managed to offload. Charlotte looking to recover. Double tackle in the middle. Blaine and Abelardo find that one. Looking for another crash. Another double tackle. Negative gains for Charlotte since they've recovered the ball off Luke Keogh's offload. Looking for a boot. That's going down. Out of bounds. Straight out. That'll be a Kentucky line out just outside of Charlotte's 22. Cable will throw in. You see Arthur walking into this line out. Probably going to call his own number here. Contested, 1. There's a maul for Kentucky. Ball brought down, legally this time. Weeks fishing for it, finds Merritt. Good win to Ruck. Weeks finds again, fishes one out to Dempsey on the bounce. Dempsey carries. Weeks fishing again, spins to Dardis, finds Keogh. Wide to his brother Joe. Joe on the run, offloads off Charlotte player. Recovered by Charlotte. Charlotte looks for a crash wide. Breaks a few tackles. Brought down eventually by Reza. 9 finds another crash. Brought down by Merritt. Sorry, that was Dempsey. And looking for another kick. They spin it wide. One extra. Now finds the kicker. Clears his line. Down to Jaden Bailey. Bailey looking for a gap. Runs into a wall of 49er defenders. Now Weeks. Picks, goes around the corner. Captain Curry picks off the base of that ruck. Goes through again. And knocked on at the base of that ruck. Looks like Cable knocked it on there. So, in the initial stages, Kentucky able to make some meters, but hasn't been able to finish or recover. Some questionable offloads. So Charlotte's been bailed out twice by Kentucky errors just inside the 22. So now Charlotte with the scrum. Far right side, they stack their whole back line to the left. There's plenty of space to the right of this scrum. The scrum goes backwards. 9 manages to dig it out of the base. Looks for his 12. Recovered by Dempsey on the bounce. Dardis spins to Lynn. Lynn carries. Bailey drives him through the pile. Weeks looking for this ball. Finds Goodwin off the base of that ruck. Weeks looking again. Going to go back Weeks side. Finds Keogh, All-American. Spins into B. Lynn. And that's taken out of bounds. We've got an injured 49er on the field. But when we come back, it'll be 49er ball. Just inside their 22 on a lineout. So as the injured 49er makes his way off the field, ref blows the ball back in live. And it'll be a 49er lineup just inside the 22. They go for the front pod, stolen by Goodwin. Weeks finds it, jukes one, taken down just inside the 15-meter line. Kentucky looking to pick and go while the 9's on the floor. Big carry by Donlin. Reyes is looking for this next one. Spins it to Weeks. Weeks finds Merritt. Merritt bounces one. Drives through another. Cable rucks. Weeks finds it at the base of the ruck. Spins to Dardis. Dardis to Keogh. Keogh finds Dempsey around the corner. And just a little bit of an errant pass. Looking for Nate Ingalls. Probably a score there if he makes that pass. But just straight out of bounds. Just missed the pass. The line wasn't perfect from Dempsey and Keogh. So the pass was a little bit off, a little bit flat. And that last pass just wasn't enough space to make it. So the Charlotte line out again. About the same play, it's just opposite side of the field. Arthur makes tackle behind the gain line. Charlotte 9 digs, finds a crash, isolated. They find the resource for the ruck. Charlotte looks to clear their lines again. And this ball finds Nate Ingalls. Ingalls spins it wide across to Jaden Bailey. Jaden Bailey jukes one. Brought down just outside 30 meters. And Charlotte penalized. Weeks go quickly off the base of that penalty. Weeks searching, stiff arms, and he's down in the corner for a score. Hold on here, I haven't seen a signal from the ref. It is a score. So Charlotte got their hands in that ruck a little bit too eagerly. Penalized, Weeks sees the opportunity, taps and goes. Finds his way all the way into the end zone. Dempsey will take this kick here. Try and make it 7-0. Dempsey does find the extra 2, so that's going to be 7-0 Wildcats. 49ers kick off, make it, take it in rugby. I don't think we have instant replay, but if you rewind and watch that try, I think Andrew Weeks just about murdered someone on the goal line with a stiff arm right to the chest. He was a middle linebacker in high school. He's only like 5'7", but packs a lot of punch in there. The kickoff finds Luke Keogh. Luke Keogh beats one, dances over another, manages to find a few extra meters on the ground. Weeks finds Harvey Goodwin. No, that's Abelardo Reza. Weeks looking for that, spills out to Dardis on the floor. Dardis dishes to Lynn. Lynn beats one. And the Wildcats are looking to reset here and stabilize. They're looking for the big man. Nope, they're going out the back to Dempsey. Dempsey clears the lines. Down to Charlotte's 15. It goes over his head. He covers around 10 meters from his line. Looking for a seam, Dishes it over the head of a Wildcat defender. Finds his wing. Now brought down by Captain Curry. Charlotte looking for a crash ball here. Tackled by Reza and Arthur together. Finds the backs. And just clattered by Reza. Off the rip. Charlotte going backward most of the time with the ball. 9 looks to clear the lines again. This ball goes not quite out of bounds. Here's Bailey. Bailey tackled by Charlotte's winger. Ruck is well resourced by UK. Weeks digs at the base, finds Goodwin. Goodwin carries, makes some positive meters. Ruck is cleaned. Weeks to Dempsey. Dempsey to Dardis. And that is intentionally knocked down by Charlotte. Penalty immediately given. We'll see if this turns into a card. Ref has blown it dead. I don't think I've seen a more intentional knock-on before that. I'm trying not to be too biased here. I'm wearing blue, but that was that was rude even for an NBA game. And there's the card, intentional knock-on. You can't knock the ball intentionally forward. There's some leeway if you're trying to pick it off, but that was not an attempt to catch the ball. That looked like a volleyball spike coming off the hand. So now we've got Dempsey looking to kick to the sideline. Wildcats are going to line up wherever this ball goes out of bounds. Time back on.
They're down in the back of me now, so we want to play edge. We want to sit them down and play edge ball. Yep. Cool.
And Dempsey finds touch. There's a lot of lines on this field, but we are playing with the blue lines across the black grid. Those white lines, where this line out is about 30 meters, 28 meters from the goal line. So now Arthur's going to enter this line out. We'll see what they have on for the play. They fake first, go second, find Dempsey. Out the back, here's Keogh. Carries. Big ball out to his brother, Joe. Joe puts it on the toe. And it is not going out of bounds yet. And that is put dead by a Charlotte player. It's going to be a 22-meter drop from just inside the goal line. So this has to go 5 meters. But hell of a play by Joe Keogh to create that pressure. In professional rugby, this is one of the highest scoring set pieces at the pro levels. We'll see what the Wildcats can make out of this receiving kickoff from inside the 22. So, Engels catches, Engels carries, runs into a man, carries him 6-7 meters. And that is Parker Cable, who picked up off the base of that ruck, beat a defender, and is now in the end zone. Dots down for a try in the corner. That'll make it 12-0 Wildcats. Again, Alex Dempsey will take this kick directly perpendicular from where Parker Cable dotted down in the corner. So you see this first kick was a little closer to the goal post because he was a little narrower to the goal. Now he's out there and wide looking for a better angle from deeper on the pitch. He's almost 30 meters back here. Lines it up. Punches it through. It's a good strike. And just misses inside the near post. And again, make it take it in rugby. So Wildcats up 12-0. Get to receive the kickoff.
First test.
Charlotte's first two kickoffs have been shallow. They go shallow again, and this one goes straight out, so it's going to go back to where we kicked it for a scrum. Scrum to UK. In the first scrum, the Wildcats pushed the 49ers over, but they were able to get the ball at the base of the scrum, so we'll see what we do here. It's always a little easier to be the defensive team on the scrum because your hooker does not have to pick his foot up. When you're the attacking team in the scrum, when you put the ball in the scrum, your hooker has to pick his foot up to feed the ball back to his locks and 8-man. So you end up with 1 foot less on the ground pushing forward. So we'll see if they can replicate this pressure with 1 less foot. Here's the feed from Weeks. Merritt finds Weeks, finds Dempsey. Dempsey puts it to the boot. Keogh chasing on. And I can't tell if that went off of Charlotte or if that ended up being, nope, that ended up being off of Alex Dempsey's toe. So it'll be a Charlotte 49er line out just inside the 22. Now, if you're curious about the 50-22 rule, because that was a scrum on the 50, it does not count as being behind the 50. So that would normally be a 50-22 there, but not this time. On a 50-22, the Wildcats would have gotten the throw-in on the line-out. So, 49ers dig this one off the base of the ruck after the line-out, and they're going to kick it straight out to just outside their own 22. The Wildcats are going to attacking line-out about 25 meters out. Wildcats debating among themselves in the play call. Arthur will enter, probably call it to himself, as it usually does. They find Lynn at the front, go for a maul. It's Curry with the ball at the back. Cable's looking for it. Charlotte gets a defender through the middle of the maul. And looks like Curry broke it off. And we're looking for a pick and go from Donlin. Ruck is recycled. Another pick and go. Weeks trying to direct traffic. Looking for an opportunity to get this one. Forward's just going to work. We've got a penalty just off the 49er goal line. And the ref stopped time here. Let's see what he's looking for. This might be another card. At the very least, he's going to warn the 49ers against repeated penalties near the goal line. '49ers playing the Southern Conference. They went 7-1 this year. The Southern Conference is a mixed conference. You've got some Division I varsity teams. You've got some club teams from big universities. You've got some club teams from very small universities. The Southern Conference, so they go Division I, Division I AA, and Division II. 49ers went 7-1 in the Southern Conference this year, losing to only, I believe, one of the D1 teams. So, I'm not quite sure what happened here, but the ref has awarded a scrum to the Wildcats just outside of Charlotte's goal line, about 7-8 meters out from from this angle, it looks like. Weeks is going to feed it in. Weeks looks for Dempsey. Dempsey runs over 2, rucked over by Keogh. Weeks finds Lynn, and he bushes over for the try just outside the goalpost. Now on that whole play, Charlotte's flanker had released early from the scrum. You saw there were 2 defenders in front of Weeks at the base of the scrum. And so the Wildcats were playing that sequence with a penalty advantage. So if they had not scored there, the ref would have brought the ball all the way back to the location of that scrum for a penalty. In the meantime, Dempsey is going to line up his kick here. Again, straight out, perpendicular from where Lynn scored. This to make it 19-0. Leg swings through, ball goes over the net, hits a car. Not quite hits a car. That's 19-0. So 49ers looking to kick off once again. Kentucky coach Sam Minari, nice little touch with the foot there. Almost right on his hands. Not quite. That's why he's a coach now and not a player anymore. Charlotte 10 looks to kick off. Short once again. Donlin looking to catch this one, and it's recovered by a 49er. Heck of a play by the 49ers there. Look for the crash. Their hooker makes one miss. Merritt finds them finds the runner. Go out the back behind that pod. 10, Deeks 1, Deeks 2. Brought down eventually by Lynn. Scrum half digging for it. Finds a big runner off the base.
There you go, Trap! There you go, Trap!
That's Charlotte's loose head. Makes one miss and drags another a few meters. Charlotte with a little bit of forward momentum here now. Nice little offload off the floor, but that looks like it's covered by the 49ers. Kentucky looking to ruck through. Find a crash to the big tight head again. Tight head offloads. What an offload. 10, Deeks 2. Finally brought down by Lynn. And there's a pick off the base of the ruck. And knocked in the tackle. Looks like Luke Keogh is a little banged up. He's going to recover, step back into the line. This will be a Wildcat scrum, so Andrew Weeks will feed again. Wildcats about 25 meters out from their own line. This is the closest they've been to their line all day. Weeks feeds. Pretty sloppy scrum, but Merritt picks from the back. Merritt finds Joe Keogh, All-American. Joe Keogh makes 2 miss, puts it to the boot, down to the middle. Joe Keogh chasing, Curry chasing. Charlotte 49er trips up, and Joe Keogh and Curry work to bring him down. Charlotte resources the ruck nicely. 9 looks for a runner off the base. Beats 1. Double tackle 2 by Cable and Joe Keogh. And knocked by a 49er. Recovered, so we're going to have a scrum to the Wildcats. Just about 35 meters out from the line. So normally the Wildcats have taken the ball off the base of the scrum and spun it wide to fly half Dardis or inside center Dempsey, but that time Everett Merritt picked it up, found Joe Keogh, All-American winger, on the edge, and Keogh put the ball forward, put the Niners under pressure, and forced a knock-on a little later. So that was about 45 meters of plus territory for the Wildcats from that. So Weeks looking to feed. Ref's not happy with the stability of the scrum so far. I don't have exact stats, but it looks to me, just from the eye test, that the Wildcats have a big weight advantage in the tight 5. And that's really where most of the engine power, so to speak, comes from in the scrum. Merritt picks again. Merritt beats 1, beats 2, runs a 3rd over, runs into a 4th and a 5th, and he keeps trundling down to about 10 meters out. Weeks digging for it. The Niners come up with it illegally, hands in. And the Wildcats were hoping to go quickly, but couldn't quite manage it. And Dempsey is going to call for a kick here, for a penalty kick. So with the penalty right in front of the goalpost, Dempsey elects to take the easy 3 points off the penalty. So again, similar to last play, Merritt picked off the base into a wide open channel, made a bunch of meters. Charlotte turned the ball over illegally, were penalized, and Dempsey is going to try and capitalize for 3 easy points right in front of the post. And Dempsey draws that one right through the post. So now they're making 22-0 Wildcats. Not sure if you can hear it on the camera here, but across the field, Glenn Donlin, Wildcats superfan, is leading the Cats cheer. Sideline on a pretty cold day for what Kentucky is, about 50 degrees today. Not quite as energized as he is, but that's okay. We love him for it. So, 49ers kick long this time, right to Luke Keogh, most dangerous runner on the Wildcats team. Luke Keogh beats 1, beats 2, runs through a seam between 2 guys. Weeks looks for the ruck. Wildcats playing with advantage, find Dardis to Ingles. Ingles puts it on the floor. Cable recovers, but we've got a high tackle advantage about 35 meters out from Kentucky's line. Wildcats had a blood sub on. Elliott Smith came on for about 30 seconds before Harvey Goodwin recovered. Dempsey looking for the sideline. Nice little touch finder, gained the Wildcats about 15 minutes. Friday at practice, he spent about 15 minutes on that kick. It's been what he's struggled with this season, finding touch from the center of the field. But that one, a little less greedy, a little more under the wind. Finds about 15 meters of space. Wildcats get an attacking line out from the halfway point. So Arthur will walk into this line out. Cable will try to find Arthur tips it to Weeks to Dardis. Dardis out the back to Dempsey. Dempsey out the back to Keogh. Keogh over the top to his brother. Joe finds Ingles, the other opposite winger, working hard across the field. Wildcats recycle the ruck. Weeks at the base. Finds Dardis. Dardis to Reza. Reza, big runner, big hit. Weeks, base of the ruck. Dardis. Dardis to Dempsey. Dempsey, nice catch. And that was Cable, who couldn't quite handle that one. But Wildcats are playing with advantage for offside by the Niners, so they'll have a penalty about 48 meters out from the Charlotte line, just over the midfield.
Go that way. What number was that? That way, the wind go that way.
Dempsey was looking for touch, did find it, but the 49ers almost got it over. I'm not quite sure what happened there. It looked like Dempsey tried to bite off a little more than last time, looked for about 25 meters, as opposed to the 15 he got last time. And the Charlotte 49er winger just about saved it from going out of bounds, but the ref calls it over the line, or the winger for the Niners was in touch when he made contact with the ball. So it'll still be either way, it's a Wildcats line out about 20 meters out. They find Lynn, go for a maul. Lynn spins away from the maul, and they're gonna look to jam this just right in the middle. Weeks finds Goodwin on a hell of a line. Goodwin carries a couple over Dempsey. Rucks, Weeks finds Dardis. Dardis to Ingles on a short line. Ingles runs to 1 over 2 and just brought down short. Weeks picks from the base, looks to get underneath the Charlotte defender. And Eli Arthur comes up with a score off the pick from the base of that ruck. So with Eli Arthur's relatively cheap try, that'll make it 27-0. So apparently, number 11 for the Wildcats has been Colin Spalacy, not Nate Ingles, and I got to apologize for the error, as Dempsey puts a beautiful kick, tight little draw just inside the right post. That makes it 29-0 Wildcats. And if I can do some quick math live, Dempsey is 4 for 5 on kicks with 9 points so far. So 29-0. Alex Dempsey's got 9 points. That's his best kicking day of the year so far.
First test.
Niners kick off deep. Ball bounces. Jaden Bailey picks it up. Bailey runs right into a big tackle from the Niners hooker. Weeks looking for Dempsey to clear the lines. Dempsey keeps it in. Niners 10, looking for a seam, and misses the pass to his fullback. Eli Arthur picks off the base of that ruck and gets a little bit ahead of his support, and the Niners earn a penalty inside Wildcats territory.
Slow it down, but keep the intensity. Come on.
The Niners look to be debating whether they want to scrum or whether they want to kick for touch. There's some interesting wind at this field. It's kind of a local high point, and so you get some wind that whips around quite a bit. But that kick uses the wind, gets to the sideline, gets about 20 meters in the process, so it'll be a Niners line out just inside the Wildcats 22. Niners have a couple of nifty plays off the line out. We'll see if they pull one of them out the back pocket. Down 29, probably a good idea. Niners walk in, 5-man in the line out with a 6th forward just outside. They're probably going to drop one of these forwards. And the Niners look for one. The back guy in the line looking for him to come through, and the Wildcats get caught with their hand in the cookie jar there. Another penalty just inside the 22. So they tried to steal that ball before the ruck formed, but they got there after the ruck. So you're not allowed to put your hands in the ruck. You're only allowed to drive over the ruck. And then if you're not as part of that ruck, you're allowed to take the ball. But looked like Eli Arthur, Harvey Goodwin got caught with his hand in the cookie jar there. And B. Lynn going for a poach, and he successfully gets there on time. So that'll be a Wildcats penalty. B. Lynn sort of gets one of his teammates out of jail there. It's a sort of a double-edged sword there going for the poach, because you see the one where they get there a little late and they get the penalty against them. And on the very next play, B. Lynn gets there before the reinforcements arrive for the 49ers. And he gets rewarded with a penalty. And Dempsey, with a really nice kick, gets about 20 meters off of that penalty. So the offending team has to leave 10 meters of space between the mark of the penalty. So anything above 10 meters is really a good win. B-Lin snatches that one out of the lineout from Cable, looking for a maul. Maul collapses a little bit, and ref gives advantage to the Wildcats. Weeks finds the ball, gives to Dardis. Dardis over the top to Merritt. Merritt dishes to Keogh. Keogh to Spalacy. Spalacy spills it on the ground, but they've got advantage. So on the way back to right where that lineup happened, couldn't see what the penalty was. Looks like it was a side entry or an offside. Yeah, side entry at the ruck there. So Dempsey's going to look for another 15 to 20 meters off of this penalty. And you see how important penalties are, because the Wildcats able to eat up a ton of meters. About 20 there.
Same thing.
About 20 meters there, just off of a couple of Charlotte infractions. So the Wildcats go from inside their 22-meter line. And now just inside the Niners' 40. Arthur calls his own number. Throw is a little bit errant. And Gage Curry sort of pulls the Wildcat or the Niners attacker into himself, pulls him to the ground, shows the hands, and goes to poach that ball. Gets rewarded with the penalty. That's really just an excellent play from Curry. Bailed out Cable and Arthur there on that miscue in the line out. So now Dempsey up again. He's had a great kicking day. Looking for another 20 meters. Looks like it just barely gets out inside of the Charlotte 5 meters. So a little bit to the right, and that probably stays in bounds or even goes out of bounds in the end goal, which would give the Niners the ball back where the kick happened. Now, the Wildcats put Blaine Donlin in front here, and they go for a maul. Blaine Donlin smashes into the pile. Always an excellent play to give Blaine the ball. Now the Wildcats look to bash it up just inside the Niners' 5. You see the 49ers going to all be with their hands on the floor trying to get underneath the Wildcats as they pick and go, and they dish out wide to Luke Keogh, I believe. No, I apologize. That's Gage Curry. So Gage Curry, Captain Curry, gets a free score, just kind of cherry picking one off on the sideline. So all of that space from the Wildcats 22 all the way down to that score basically came off of Charlotte penalties. There was a side entry in the ruck and 2 not releasing penalties, which we call a poach, against the Niners. So that's just sort of isolated runners. One really getting there first by Lynn inside the Wildcats 22. Curry, kind of a grizzled veteran move of pulling the attacker into him, pulling him away from his helpers, and just taking the ball away from him before anyone has a chance to get Curry out of there. So now Dempsey's got a sideline conversion. He's 4 for 5. Good strike, and just pulls it inside. So now he's 4 for 6. Wildcats up 34-0. Tries. Let's see if I can remember all the tries here. Curry. Lynn has one. Arthur has one.
This last play. No, he said
Can't remember the other two. So the 49ers have tried a couple here. Couple shallow, couple deep. This one goes shallow. Harvey Goodwin lets it go over his head, over into the sideline. So it will be scrum midfield to the Wildcats. We've seen this platform be pretty deadly for the Wildcats a couple of times, especially with Merritt picking off the base. He's made about 45 meters doing that.
Eyes up, Merritt.
So Weeks looking to field. Wildcats have their backs split between the two sides. Dardis and Dempsey stacked directly behind the scrum. And they're both going to break to the left. Merritt feeds to Weeks, feeds to Keogh. Keogh jukes one, runs right into another. That looked like it hurt. Looks like he got his face caught. And Curry picks one up, but looks like Keogh was tackled illegally. And you see the Charlotte 49ers sort of admonishing their teammate for hitting him high. So referees here discussing what sort of penalty this will be. They've already decided that it'll be a penalty with their arm up in the air, the 10 meters, and the opportunity to kick the ball out and keep it. But the sideline referee, the assistant referee, and the center referee discussing whether it's going to be a card. And he is going to go to the pocket here. So the question remaining is yellow or red. So head-to-head contact, yellow card. And Charlotte will be down a player for the next 10 minutes of the game for the second time. So Dempsey's going to look for the sideline. Again, he's had an excellent day with the boot. Easily his best day as a Wildcat, the freshman. Right-footed kick going to the right-handed sidelines. Always tough kick, and Dempsey doesn't quite make it there. Charlotte returns fire, and Bailey recovers right at midfield. Bailey looks to juke one, finds Spalacy on the wing. Spalacy beats one and pushed back, but Wildcats recover. Dardis dishes to Abelardo Reza. Abelardo's about 270 pounds. I wouldn't want to tackle him. Now, Weeks feeds to Dempsey. Dempsey looks for a kick deep, and the Niners are going to return fire again. Dardis underneath it, jumps, throws it wide to Bailey. Bailey looks to run up the gut. Bailey dragging some with him. The Wildcats have advantage. Weeks at the base. And now Weeks to Dardis. Dardis puts the boot on. Spalacy chasing under. That's Lynn. Puts a boot on it and just barely doesn't get that ball back in bounds to his teammate. If he had made that pass, that's a try for sure. So, hell of a touch by Lynn there. Holy moly. So, referee determines the Wildcats didn't gain an advantage from that play. So the advantage system works if the Wildcats were to have gotten a material advantage from that attempted play, if Lynn had completed that pass, or Dempsey taps quickly, finds Keogh. Keogh tackled, pops to Weeks. Weeks to Dempsey. Dempsey tackled. Weeks digging for it. Weeks looking for Dardis. Dardis looking for some space, looking for the pass over the top, but couldn't quite find it. He's resourced at the ruck, and the Niners have gotten this ball back. Niners looking for some end of the half momentum. Keogh steals it at that ruck. Keogh doesn't quite keep himself in bounds. So that'll be the end of the half. So the half ends 34-0. Looks like a Charlotte player got cleated by his own teammate. But it certainly doesn't feel good. So 34-0 at half. And we'll be back in just a minute here for the second half. referee to start. He's checking with assistants, checks with the captains. 7.5 minutes for Charlotte to play down 1. So they're going to have to survive that and try and put some pressure on the Wildcats, a man down. Dempsey looks for it deep. Charlotte, 12, gets it about 22 meters out, makes a nice carry. Charlotte looks to crash one up. Big tackle from a couple of Wildcats. 2-on-1, looks to clear their lines. Deep, high kick. Gonna fall about. Ooh, bad bounce for the Wildcats. But knocked on by the Niners. Keogh beats 1, beats 2, beats a third. Keogh, all the way back under the post. And I am almost getting sick of watching that over the last 4 years. Keogh, All-American winger. Wildcats missed him first part of the season. They're happy, very happy to have him back, and that is why. Cut the ball, a little bit of a messed up bounce from the Wildcats. Beats 1, beats 2, beats 3, and ducks down under the post 30 seconds into the second half. Dempsey looks to convert for the 6th time here. He's 4 for 6, 9 points. Sorry, he's 4 for 7, 9 points. Looking to make himself 5 for 8. Again, Dempsey having a day with the boot. Rocks, punches it through. Flags go up. 41-0 Wildcats.
I made 1 at half and 1 right now.
So Joe Keogh earns a break after that break. And the Wildcats look like they subbed Harvey Goodwin off at half to bring on freshman Elliott Smith. He's a tower, 6'4", dangerous in the lineout. So we'll see if that affects the play calling by Eli Arthur at lineout time. So Charlotte, they've kicked deep, they've kicked long, all to the right. This one looks like it's going to be short. And Smith catches one and does not quite keep it in. And it looks like they're calling a knock on. So Elliott couldn't quite keep that one together. Smith, first touch, not ideal, but Joe Keogh more made up for that. So now Niners get a scrum about 35 meters out. Right sideline, they've got all the space in the world on the left. Left is the easier way to attack because most people are right-handed. You spin it with your right hand when you're passing left. Charlotte's 9 puts it in. Big pressure from the Wildcats. Curry eats up the 49ers scrum half on the sideline right in front of the UK bench, and they're big happy for that one. Weeks tries to be clever and go fast, but someone else touched it, and
Matt, get this back for me, bro.
So what happened there is ball's on the ground out of bounds, and you're allowed to throw the ball in before the line-out throw forms, as long as the line-out hasn't formed, and then you go throw the ball at least 5 meters behind the mark of touch. Cable looks for Smith. Smith doesn't quite recover. Big runner from 49ers. Missed opportunity for the Wildcats at that line out. Dishes to 10. 10 sees this intercept attempt, ducks underneath it, makes a few meters. 9 looking for a crash. Double tackle from Smith and Arthur. And I've got to correct myself on the sub. I believe it was Brendan Lynn who came off for Smith, and Eli Arthur moves to flanker. Eli Arthur makes a tackle there. Niners looking to make some ground here. Captain Curry makes the tackle behind the Niners gain line. Big pressure from the Wildcats. Big runner, 8. And is that Eli Arthur looking to get a poach here? And yes, he does. So Johnny Dardis makes the tackle. Eli Arthur poaches. Weeks goes fast, finds Dempsey, finds Luke Keogh. Keogh jukes one, jukes two, slips a third, and both Keogh brothers have long distance tries, beating multiple defenders. That's 54-0, I believe. Sorry, 46. 46 for the Wildcats. Dempsey looking to add to his total. With this one relatively close to the post. He's got 11 points on the day, 5 for 8. Rocks back, steps forward, leg swings through. Little draw, just inside the right post. That'll make it 13 points for Dempsey on the day. Not to mention about 150 kicking meters already. So the 49ers, they've kicked right every time. Let's see if Smith handles this one a little better. Wind's shifted back in the Wildcats' favor. It's blowing right to left now. 49ers go left. Merritt ducks one defender. Carried forward by a gang of Wildcats. Weeks digs in the pile, finds Reza. Reza runs one over. Weeks, Dardis, just outside to Shelton, sophomore from Cincinnati. He's a little isolated, and the Niners get there first with the poach. This is going to be a tough deal for the Niners because they're kicking into the wind and across. So they're going to have a tough time finding a lot of meters and finding touch here. They go for it. They get about 15 there. So it'll be Charlotte's line out just inside the Wildcats 22. And Coach Saminari's made 4 subs now, I believe. Jake Temple, big runner coming on for big man Abelardo Reza. Charlotte's yellow card comes back on. They're back to full strength.
Oh, I don't know. I tried. I thought he said. Yeah.
And referee doesn't let the yellow card back on. I guess there's a few more seconds left. Charlotte's line out, not straight. Wildcats did put a player up. So they'll get this ball back. They'll have the choice of a scrum or a line out. And we'll get a chance to see the Wildcats backup props against Charlotte's scrum this time. So Weeks, who's delivered the ball nicely for the Wildcats attack, had one of his better days today. He's going to feed this scrum just inside the Wildcats 22. Now inside the 22, you can kick the ball straight out of bounds with no penalty other than losing the ball. If you're outside the 22, you lose the ball and the ball comes back to where you kicked it from. So Merritt picks off the base. Merritt finds Spalacy. Spalacy dishes back inside to Weeks. Weeks brought down by a couple of 49ers. 49ers looking to counter ruck, but the Wildcats relieve the pressure at the base of the ruck. 49ers been putting a lot of pressure on the ruck, making it hard on Andrew Weeks to keep the ball moving fast, but a knock on here is going to give a scrum to the Wildcats. So Merritt's made about 65 meters picking off the base of the ruck today on 3 carries. So he's a dangerous, dangerous runner. Has this uncanny ability to stay on his feet. Never quite sure how he does it without breaking his ankles all over the place. He's from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Grew up on the farm. That probably explains a lot of it. So Weeks going to feed this scrum. See if Merritt picks again. He's looking at it, thinking about it, but he's going to nope, he's going to dish to Weeks. Weeks finds Dardis. Dardis to Dempsey. Dempsey all the way across. Misses Bailey, but Keogh recovers. Keogh beats one. Not quite beats two and knocks on in the process. It'll be a Niners scrum about 35 meters out from the Wildcats line. Keogh, a little shaken by that tackle and the knock on, but he's going to jog it off. It's a Niners scrum, 35 meters out, right-hand sideline. Looking to stem the tide here from the Wildcats. Their 8-man's a dangerous runner. I wouldn't be surprised to see him try and take it down this narrow channel on the right. But Captain Curry's going to be there waiting for him. A couple of the Wildcat starters are behind me getting checked out for some minor injuries, some ankles and some shoulders. All regular rugby stuff. Charlotte feeds. Big pressure from the Wildcats scrum. Big pressure. And penalty to the Wildcats. All sorts of things trying to recover the pressure, trying to release the pressure there by the Niners. Weeks goes quickly, finds Dardis. Dardis across to Keogh. Keogh to Spalacy to Ingles. Ingles beats a couple. Bragged down just inside the 40 of the Niners. Wildcats resource that ruck effectively. Weeks finds Dempsey. Dempsey to Arthur. Arthur finds Harvey Goodwin. Weeks pushes man out of the way to find Dempsey. Dempsey to Dardis. Dardis dishes short to Cable. Cable brought down nicely. And Niners get there before Gage Curry can clear that ruck. So it's going to be holding on penalty to the Niners. Niners are looking to make that meterage, but they're kicking into the wind. Don't quite get it to the sideline. This is Nate Ingles. No, I'm sorry, that's Spalacy. They're both about the same height and wear black scrum caps, so I can only tell by the number. Temple, big carry, beats one, beats two. Weeks recycles quickly. Weeks finds Bailey. Bailey beats a couple. And once again, Wildcats don't get there first, and the Niners are able to capitalize, sort of stem the flow of this Wildcats attack. When the Wildcats have been able to keep the rucks clean, keep the ball moving hand to hand, they've been very effective today. Charlotte kicker gets about 20 meters. Charlotte will have an attacking line out just outside the 40-meter line. Both lineouts have won against the throw today, so we'll see if Elliott Smith attempts to steal one here. He's got long arms, so he's able to get himself all the way across the channel and kind of tip a ball back towards his own side. Ball overthrown. Charlotte recycles. Looks for their fly half. Fly half looks for their 8. Went backwards off the hand and knocks on in the tackle. So both teams sort of false starting here a little bit. And it looks like indoor was just brought on for Andrew Weeks. So Wildcats have 3 subs remaining. Charlie Sizemore, Ryan Paul, and Ezra Blackman. Charlie Sizemore is the workhorse. He'll go in at hooker or lock. Ryan Paul, dangerous, make guys miss, and Ezra Blackman, straight line speed. I don't think the Wildcats have anyone faster than him, and he likes to run into people. So it'll be fun to see him on later this afternoon. So Dorr feeds now. Very stable base. Dorr to Dempsey. Dempsey puts the toe on it, and just out of bounds inside the 22. shouldn't be a 50-22 because it was off the scrum. When the ball comes off the base of the scrum, it usually isn't. I don't think it is. It's supposed to be a 50-22 when it comes off the 50-meter scrum. Oh, I apologize. It wasn't a 50-meter scrum. That was just inside. I can't remember where the feed was exactly, if it was in front or behind the 22. Ref says in front, so it'll be Niners ball. Niners go to the second pod. Elliott Smith tries to steal it out of the hand, but made contact with the player in the air, which is illegal. Not a lot of refs like to give the team up 48 points the benefit of the doubt there. So the Wildcats probably do their best just to play their game, not try to push the envelope on the rules too hard. So Charlotte takes advantage of the penalty and a break in the wind. They get about 25 meters off that kick. And you see they've got their best runners, their 8, stacked out wide of their fly halves. They're trying to put that 8 in an advantageous matchup. Big pressure from the Wildcats defensive line. And they do run. That 8 makes a big amount of meters. He carried a Wildcat defender about 10 meters. Finds 10. 10 puts boot to ball. Recovered by 49er 13. Who's brought down by Jaden Bailey. I don't see an arm out from the referee, so it looks like that was fully legal. Finds 8. Smith falls off it, and the 8 makes a couple of meters going through. Merritt trying to get out of that ruck, get out of trouble. Niners making some meters here. Finally brought down by Goodwin there. Ball spills out. Goodwin recovers. Dishes to Smith. Smith loses it forward. So 49ers going to get the feed here in this scrum about 30 meters, 25 meters. And they drive early, free kick to the Wildcats. And Niners sort of kick it away, which is not allowed. It's unsportsmanlike. They're going to get a card. I don't know. By the letter of the law, yeah, but...
Take the ball away, he fucking pushed me.
So that's the Niners' third yellow card. Sort of not the kind of penalty you want to see usually. I'm not sure if Dorr didn't sort of bait him into that. Dempsey. Oh, just about made touch, but the Niners fullback jumped and landed on the sideline. So that's going to be Wildcats ball. Wildcats find the maul. Ball spills. And Niners illegally enter this maul. And the Niners get another card for illegal entry. So now the Niners are down 2 players. Wildcats worked really hard to go quickly on that line out. And that's sort of why the Niners weren't ready for him and had to enter illegally to try and slow him down. It's a professional penalty for sure. I probably wouldn't have given a card for it, but, you know, each to his own. I'm not sure if they'd been warned or not about side entry at the ball. Wildcats have the scrum advantage all day. Dorr feeds. Merritt picks, dishes to Dempsey. Dempsey takes a couple of big hits. Dorr, Dardis. Dardis to Keogh. Keogh all the way across to Engels. Engels beats one, beats two, and dives in the corner for another score. So that'll be 53-0. Wildcats kick to follow. And now Everett Merritt's going to come off for Ezra Blackman. And Ryan Paul's going to come on here in a minute for Alex Dempsey, probably right after the kick. Johnny Dardis pleading with Coach Inari to remain on the field. And also pleading for his midfield partner, Alex Dempsey. Dempsey 13 points already on the day, looking for his 15th. And kicking sort of across the wind, doesn't quite get it there. I believe it makes him 5 for 9. 5 for 9, 6 for 9, 6 for 10, something like that. And ultimately, it's Belacy that comes off. He's got a cut on his forehead from last week, so he's probably grateful to get a hat. He's probably grateful to get a couple minutes rest here. Niners, high, right to Ezra Blackman, the substitute for Merritt. Ezra tries to get away from the defenders. Dragged down from behind, Dorr to Temple. Temple, big runner, loves to run people over. Loses that ball in contact. Niners now looking to recycle. Offloads to the center. Center looking for another offload. Spins around Dorr. Brought down by Dorr in the end. Dorr's trying to crawl out of there. Can't quite make it. Ball's available though. Crash to the left. Charlotte looks for the ball around the corner to the left. A little bit of a misfire there, but looks like they had an advantage. Or rather, there was a knock-on. Yes, Temple's knock-on in contact is what we're going to come back to. So it'll be a scrum for the Niners. About 30 meters out, 28 meters out, something like that. I wish I knew their names so I could do a little bit better commentary for them, but it is what it is. Niners are playing 2 down. So their back line's a little short, their scrum's a little short. And big pressure from the Wildcats, but illegally so. Looks like Temple won Bryson Shelton won big on his side. Temple didn't quite push as well on his side. Niners now recycling quickly. And all sorts of chaos at this ruck. So we've got an injured 49er. The ref blew it dead. And one of the Wildcats players apparently completely lost his mind and hit the ref. But it didn't look intentional. It looked more like he saw something that he needed to hit and the ref was in the way. So now the Wildcats with their toes on the goal line. They're going to watch closely for this ball to be tapped by the foot of the Niners and try and explode up and get a positive play here. So the Niners hoping to delete this goose egg. And the ref is going to come out here and talk to Captain Curry and the captain for the 49ers. He's probably going to say something along the lines of, boys, we've got 20 minutes left and it's a 53-point game. Chill out. At this point, it's playing for pride. About 15 minutes left, according to our time, I just told. It's a very long version of what I said that the ref is giving the captains. Captains shake hands, go back to their sides. There's going to be no punishment for running into the ref here for the Wildcats. Can't tell if the 49ers elected a scrum here or if the SIR has decided that it's a scrum and not a penalty. Probably the SIR has given it a scrum due to the injured player. Time back on, says the SIR. Both sides get ready. Last one. Wildcats push too hard left, not hard enough right. 49ers, dangerous 8-man. Dish to 10, 10 to 12. 12 just about breaks through. Ruck is resourced by the 49ers. Looking for their 8-man. 8-man dishes to the backup lock. He carries a couple Wildcats through. And Wildcats penalized. Niners go quick. 13 dances around a couple of Wildcats, brought down eventually. Fullback comes into play 9. Hard line from the backup fullback, from backup winger there. He's brought down short of the line. Scrum half resumes control of the offense. 8-man's brought down. They reverse field, 13. 13 tries to dance around, brought down by Goodwin. No, he slips off Goodwin. Nine looking for some space. Big double tackle from Temple and Curry. Temple falls off him. Curry finishes the job. 9 finds 10. 10 to 12 over the top. And Alex Dempsey cleans up the mess here. Big double tackle from Blackman and Curry there for a negative play for the Niners. Smith brings that Niner down. And Curry, Captain Curry, for about the 3rd time this game,
Sir, can you check in the yellow?
pilfers
Sir,
the 49ers
check in the yellow.
ball carrier while he's on the ground. Dempsey goes quickly. Dempsey dishes Dardis. Dardis finds Ryan Paul. Paul spins out and finds Keogh. Keogh, stiff arms. Brought down eventually. And quite a poach. Oh! Dorr goes quickly. Ball spills through a couple Wildcats. Shelton recovers. Shelton straightens up and runs right over a man. Brought down. Now Dorr finds Dempsey. Dempsey reverses field to Dardis. Dardis over the top to Blackman. Blackman makes a man look silly, and he's off like a rocket. And looks like Jaden Bailey, who had about 8 lanes of highway wide open between him and the end zone, just doesn't quite handle the ball. And we've got a Charlotte scrum about 12 meters out. I mean, Jaden Bailey, he had like wide open highway between him and the end goal after Ezra Blackman's carry. And certainly a score in a playoff match is something that he's going to miss. He's got an injured 49er on the field here. Time's off. The score is 53-0. Charlotte has a scrum inside their own 22, about 10 meters from their line. Make it 15, the ref decides. I told you Blackman was going to make an impact. In his first carry, he comes from about where I'm standing at the 45 and brings it about 20 meters, makes a couple people look silly, and probably could have juked that last guy out, but decided he wanted to hit someone today. I appreciate him for that. So it'll be a Charlotte feed at the scrum. They are still one man down, I believe. Big push from the Wildcats. Scrum turns. The Niners manage to stem the tide there. Great kick. And Bailey recovers at about the 40. Tries to split the defenders. Tries to offload to Paul. And Niners trying to put pressure on at the ruck. Eli Arthur goes quickly. Don't see a lock take a pick and tap really quite often. Door dishes wide. Can't think that's Ingles. Ingles tackled about 5 meters out. Wildcats trying to clean up this ruck, clean up the mess here. Wildcats putting some big pressure on the Niners. Niners trying to respond at the ruck. Harvey Goodwin with an excellent line off the base of the ruck, and he just runs right through the traffic into the end zone. Dots down about 5 meters right of the post. So now both starting locks for the Wildcats have picked up a score. Captain Curry, we've got a couple of by the Keogh brothers, and I've lost track of all the backs who have scored. And now Dempsey, lost track of the number of kicks he's had, but he's had a good day off the tee. He's gotten a one that we shouldn't have gotten. He got a wide conversion. He's gotten all the ones right in front for free. That's really all you can ask for, is one or two extra off the sideline and all the freebies in front of the post. 49ers really want to get some pressure on the Wildcats ruck. They've tried to come in with 2 or 3 guys at a time. We got 2 balls on the field. Ball comes down to Ezra Blackman. He bounces off a couple. Brought down. Dorr recycles quickly. Out the back to Goodwin. Goodwin on the run. Goodwin finds Smith. Smith dishes back inside to Sizemore. Sizemore runs right through the fullback. He's brought down carefully. Dorr digging. Finds Dardis. Dardis dishes to Paul. Paul runs into one. It looks like he lost that in contact. The Niners now looking to counter. Ball out to the Niners forwards. Caught in the backfield. Dish to their 8. Dangerous runner. About 3 Wildcats needed to bring him down. Little errant pass from the base of the ruck, but the Niners were playing with a knock-on advantage. So we'll go back to a scrum here. Go back to a scrum here for the 49ers. You see the far side touch judge stayed right where that knock-on was to allow the sir to have the best chance of finding the correct spot. Good touch judging right there. So now, 49ers back to full strength. Wildcats eager to get back into it, already set up for the scrum. The Niners a little slower to it. Sir calls them together. A little bit of instability before the set. Sir's going to correct them, call them back in. Wildcats have had definitely the advantage at scrum time today. Another big shove from the Wildcats. Niners able to hold on. Dish to 10, 10 to 12. 12 carries. Nope, 12 dishes to 10. Back around the corner. And Jaden Bailey picks up the errant pass and dots down underneath the post. So he knocked one on that was a much easier score about 5 minutes ago and redeems himself with some defensive pressure there. That'll probably make him feel a little bit better. He'll sleep tonight for sure. So the Wildcats, defensive pressure turns to score. Dempsey rocks, steps, swings through, 2 points. That'll make it 67-0. And for some Gen Z meme reason I don't quite understand, the Wildcats sideline are really excited by a score of 67-0. I don't get it. So Niners, again, they've got to kick back to the Wildcats.
My bad.
And Coach Inari, nervous to show off the boot. I'd say the ref has a better boot than Coach Inari. So 49ers kickoff. Deep, finds Ezra Blackman again. And Charlie Sizemore off the base of that ruck, runs a couple over, refuses to go down, finally dragged down. Arthur picks and goes, supported by Goodwin. Niners trying to pressure the ruck. Dorr dishes to Temple. Temple runs into a man already on the floor. Shelton protects the ball. Dorr to Dardis. Dardis to Dempsey. Dempsey to Paul. Paul crushed but got the ball away to Smith, and Smith forgot where he was. So Paul got crushed by a Charlotte defender, and neither he or the defender seemed to be very happy about that situation. Looks like everyone's going to get up.
You okay?
Both a little shaken. So that sequence ended with an Elliott Smith attempt to screen pass about 5 meters forward. So it'll be a Charlotte 49ers scrum at about the 40-yard line, about 10 minutes left in this one. So the Niners will bring one of their starting front rowers back on for their injured player, as the Wildcats clap him off. So injured front rowers are allowed to have their original player come back on, but that's the only case where you can come back on in rugby. Usually you're on for 80 or you get subbed and you don't get to come back on. The only exception is the front row, the props and the hookers. And the reason for that is because those positions are highly specialized compared to the rest of the teams. Sort of anyone can play lock or flanker or 8-man or any of the backline positions, but the front row positions require a lot of practice and technique. So you're allowed to sub them back on for the sake of safety of the other 15 people in the scrum, so you don't have someone who doesn't know what's going on in there. So it's the Niners feed. And down 67-0. They're just going to look for some points here. It's the goal of any team is to not be shut out in this situation. That'd be the ideal finish for the Charlotte 49ers. And if I were them, I'd be looking for my two best players to carry. Ball comes out, dishes to 10. 10 finds 13. 13 looks for his gap. Carries through a couple of Wildcat defenders. 9-10. Big pressure. Paul scoops up the errant pass and just presses on the gas, and off he goes like a 90s Honda down the highway, just peeling out in front of you. No chance of catching him. So that'll make it 72-0. Paul comes up a little limp. And Dempsey will attempt to convert this one from the touchline. Paul scooped that one up and took off like a race car down the highway. Scored in the corner. 72-0 Wildcats. Dempsey's got the wind helping. Rocks back, steps forward, swings through. Nice strike. Just pushed wide. Just pushed wide of the mark. Probably aimed for the middle. Should have aimed for the left post. 49ers, 72-0. But looking for that last score to be theirs, for pride's sake. Big pressure from the Niners line. Blackman runs over one and sort of forgets where the sideline is. Runs right out of bounds. To be fair, there weren't any defenders out of bounds, so he was just running where the space was. So now, Niners line out about 42 meters out from the Wildcats line. This is primo attacking territory. Curry and Smith looking to work together to steal this one. And force a not straight throw from a sort of nervy 49ers Wildcat, or 49ers line out rather. So now it'll be door to feed to the Wildcats. And I imagine this is pretty cathartic for the Wildcats here. They've had a tough season. They've played some really tough competition, come up short a couple of times. Lost by 17 last weekend in Knoxville after being down 5 with 5 minutes to go. And they haven't had the opportunity in a very tough conference, the Southeastern, to really pour on with their best side. Stardust dishes to Keogh. Keogh fights through the contact and knocks on at the end of the run. So it'll be a Charlotte 49ers scrum just past midfield. Niners feed the scrum. Wildcats pressure on. 8 picks. Brought down by Arthur. Ezra takes a bite at the cookie jar but doesn't quite get it. 10. Boot to ball. Blocked by Dempsey. Dempsey looking to chase down. And Niners put their hands on it first. Foot from a Wildcat player pushed it through. Looks like the Niners have recovered. Niners look to box kick over the top and give some pressure. Ryan Paul underneath it. Ryan beats one. Wildcats pick from the base of that one to release the pressure. And the Niners trying to put pressure on at the ruck. Get penalized. Dorr finds Dempsey, finds Stardust. Stardust all the way across to Bailey. Bailey dishes inside to Smith, who just can't quite handle it and gets clattered for his trouble. Charlotte's 9 finds the pod, met by a gang of Wildcats, brought down. Box kick over the top. Bailey recovers, swings to Paul. Paul runs, finds Ingles. Ingles runs past one. Ingles in space. Ingles dishes, beats another. Ingles just coasts into the end zone. Diving try at the end. Really unnecessary, I think, from Ingles there, but not my second try of the day, so what am I to say? So, 77-0. And with the one right under the post and Dempsey pretty automatic from the front of the post today, I'm going to guess 79-0 in about 30 seconds. So big defensive pressure from the Wildcats all day, forcing a lot of errors, and just converting those errors into quick pressure and points as Dempsey rocks, steps, punches through. 79. And that'll be game. 79, 2-0, your final from Lexington. Wildcats will advance to face Texas A&M in Atlanta next weekend. And that will be a heck of a matchup with the Aggies being coached by longtime St. Bonaventure, two-time national champion, Tui Osborne. So, that'll be it from Lexington. 79, Wildcats, 49ers 0.